Welcome to today's Explainer. Listen, if you've crossed that 4-decade mark, or maybe you're just creeping up on it, I have a pretty fundamental truth to share with you today. Managing your metabolic health after 40, it's not just about waking up, pricking your finger, and obsessing over morning blood sugar readings anymore. The rules of the game have completely changed. To really thrive as we age, we need a complete paradigm shift. So today we're taking a structured, evidence-based look at exactly how you can protect your longevity. Here's our clear roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to start with the age 40 paradigm shift, move right into protecting your heart and kidneys, explore why your muscles are literally a glucose sink, refine your diet and sleep, and then finish up with a proactive screening protocol. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the age 40 paradigm shift, and how the rules are changing. By the time we hit our 40s, our blood vessels have taken on decades of stress, and our physical composition really starts to shift. This is just a biological reality, and it demands that we completely revamp our approach to metabolic health. We absolutely cannot wait for problems to pop up before we act. The old way, the way we might have done things in our younger years, was hyper-focused on just one metric: daily blood sugar. We were literally just chasing numbers. But the new way, the modern clinical approach for anyone over 40 goes so much deeper. It's all about comprehensive, proactive protection of all your vital organs. Sure, managing blood sugar is still super important, but protecting your heart, your kidneys, and your blood vessels is now equally, scratch that, it's incredibly critical. We are looking at the big picture of long-term efficiency here. Moving on to Section 2, protecting your heart and kidneys. This is the ultimate priority. Think about it. Your blood vessels have been carrying a massive load for over 4 decades. Because heart disease remains the absolute leading cause of complications for metabolic conditions after 40, 130/80 is your crucial blood pressure target. Seriously, burn this number into your memory. Medical sources emphasize that staying strictly under this number is absolutely mandatory. And why is that? Because high blood pressure puts devastating stress on your microvessels. Those are the tiny, delicate little vessels that act as filters in your kidneys and supply blood to the retinas in your eyes. Keeping this number in check literally protects your kidney's filtration system from damage and preserves your vision. It's a huge deal. To keep that protection locked in, major medical organizations recommend a very specific set of modern medical shields for patients between ages 40 and 75. First up, statins. Doctors often prescribe these to protect your blood vessels, and that's actually regardless of your LDL or bad cholesterol levels. Second is that strict blood pressure control we just talked about. And third, modern medication families like SGLT and GLP-1. What's truly amazing about these modern medications is they act as an entirely independent shield. They drastically reduce the risk of heart failure and chronic kidney disease, giving you incredible organ protection completely independent of how well they lower your blood sugar. Even if your sugar is perfectly normal, these act like a suit of armor for your vital organs. Section 3. Muscles. Your glucose sink. Let's talk about the engine room of your metabolism. So physical strength is a direct, incredibly powerful tool for managing glucose. But we have to confront a silent threat here, and it's called sarcopenia. Basically, this is the age-related loss of muscle mass. Skeletal muscle is actually the primary organ in your entire body responsible for consuming and disposing of glucose. So it makes sense, right? When you lose muscle mass, you are directly driving up your body's insulin resistance. The less muscle you carry around, the harder it is for your body to process sugar. Now, what's really interesting, and honestly kind of alarming about this, is the sheer predictability of this biological clock. From the exact moment you turn 40, you start losing 3 to 8% of your muscle mass every single decade. No exceptions, it's an unavoidable fact of aging. And if we don't actively fight back against it, our body's ability to handle glucose just steadily diminishes year after year. To really grasp how to fight this, I love this brilliant analogy from the source material. Muscles act as a glucose sink or a sponge. Just picture your muscles as a literal sponge. By building bigger, stronger muscles, or even just aggressively maintaining the ones you already have, you're basically creating a larger sponge. And a bigger sponge can efficiently soak up and clean out excess glucose from your bloodstream, especially right after you eat a meal. It makes glucose control immensely easier because you aren't just relying on pills or medication, your own body is doing the heavy lifting for you. So how do we build this glucose sink and actively defend against sarcopenia? Well, there's an exact 2-step fitness recipe for it. Step 1, 150 minutes of moderate aerobic exercise every week. Think brisk walking, cycling, something to get the heart rate up. But remember, cardio alone is not going to stop muscle loss. Step 2 is the absolute most vital one for your muscles: resistance training 2 to 3 times a week. Whether you're lifting heavy weights or just using your own body weight, this dual approach is your primary shield for keeping that essential muscle mass intact. Moving to Section 4, Diet and Sleep Refinements, or as I like to call it, feeding the sink. Building up that muscle sink definitely requires the right raw materials and the right environment to recover. Your hard nutritional targets start with protein. To protect that muscle sink, you need adequate protein at every single meal. Assuming your kidney function is normal, you want to aim for 1.0 to 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. Second is fiber. You're looking for 25 to 35 grams of viscous, soluble fiber every day. You can get this from vegetables, legumes, whole grains. This specific type of fiber is basically magic because it actively blunts those sharp, dangerous glucose spikes right after you eat. So the crucial point here, the real secret weapon, is food sequencing. By simply choosing to eat your fiber and your protein before you dig into the carbohydrates on your plate, you can significantly dampen your post-meal glucose spikes. Think about that for a second. You don't necessarily have to change what you eat, just the order in which you eat it. It's such a simple trick to help your metabolism run so much more efficiently. But listen, all that fantastic diet and exercise, it can be totally undone if you ignore your recovery. As we cross into our 40s, things like sleep apnea become way more prevalent. And untreated sleep apnea combined with just general chronic sleep deprivation equals elevated cortisol, that's your body's main stress hormone, and elevated nighttime blood pressure. Put those together and they directly drive up your insulin resistance. Quality sleep isn't a luxury anymore. It's a non-negotiable metabolic requirement. Finally, Section 5, your proactive annual screening protocol. This is your final line of defense. Because the organ and microvascular damage we've been discussing today is completely silent at first, you won't feel it happening, you really need a clear roadmap to discover any dysfunction at its absolute early stage. And this brilliantly illustrates that exact map. Let's walk through it. You've got your HbA1c every 3 to 6 months to measure overall blood sugar trends, but really pay attention to those yearly tests. The UACR for early kidney disease, the EGR for kidney filtration, a dilated eye exam for asymptomatic retinopathy, a comprehensive foot exam to check on your nerves and blood flow, and a full lipid panel for cardiovascular risk. I really want to emphasize that these specific tests aren't just routine chores to check off a list. They are an urgent, empowering necessity. This is all about taking control of your health. The UACR catches proteins leaking into your urine way before your kidneys are actually in trouble. The dilated eye exam looks deep into the back of your eye to spot retinopathy before it ever threatens your vision. And the foot exam, that checks for peripheral neuropathy, nerve damage, and poor arterial blood flow that you might not even be able to feel yet. By being proactive, you're catching these silent threats when they are still highly, highly manageable. So, I want to leave you with a really powerful, paradigm-shifting question today. Do your daily health goals reflect a genuine desire to protect your whole body, to preserve your heart, your kidneys, and your muscles for decades to come? Or are you still trapped in the old way, just chasing daily numbers on a glucose monitor? The science is abundantly clear. Holistic organ protection is the key to true metabolic vitality after 40. Start focusing on the bigger picture today and empower yourself with this knowledge. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to take these insights straight to your next doctor's appointment.